Hey guys, in this video we're going to carry on about the local admin policy and the local admin settings, and this is the last video of this series. In the previous video we talked about the local administrator and how we can add somebody to become a local administrator on one machine manually without the group policy. In this video we're going to talk about how to do it through the group policy. One of the example of the things that you need to do it in the real life is, for example, adding Mr. Hassan to become administrator on all the computer labs in the university, or adding Mr. Hassan to become an administrator on one machine. Good. On one, sorry, not machine, one lab. So that way I will need to use the group policy to apply it on the OU. So for example, either I can apply it on the labs OU or in lab one OU, and that depended. I can add Hassan alone. I can add the help desk alone. I can add a small group of students, for example, give them permission on a specific lab, all these kind of things. To do this, of course, we have to do to go to the group policy. But before going there, we have to make sure we have the security group ready for that. So under my security group, under my teams, I already have the teams here, for example. So I have a group called students. This is my entire student. But you know what? I have the employee student. So I will go create a new group in our example. Good. I'm going to call it employee student. Good. Call it IT employee student. So those are the students that work with the IT department, for example. And I create the group, and then I will come here. I will go to members. I add the groups. I add Ahmad, Muhammad, whoever student working with me, 2, 3, 5, whatever. Good. So I have the group. I have the OUs. Everything is ready. I will go to my domain controller. I'll go to the group policy. In the group policy, I will right click under the group policy object, right click, create a new group policy. I will call it adding IT employee student as admin. Sorry, as local admin. That way it's work here. I create the GPO. Notice that I always create the GPO here, then I link it. I never link it immediately from there. I don't like doing this created and link immediately, because that means that every time I change something, it will affect. Every time I change something, it will affect. So I don't like that. I finish setting it up, then I link it. So adding student employee, adding IT employee student as a local admin, right click, edit. Good. Now to do the configuration, this configuration will be, of course, under computer management, under policies, under Windows settings, and then under security. And then we have the option called restricted group. So it's empty here. Now I will need to add the restricted group here. Now there is two ways of doing this. There is two ways of doing this. We will talk about the way of adding the student without affecting any other group. So we will add somebody and we will keep all the other groups are there. You remember the default group, the domain admin, something, something, something. So I will do that model. There's another model where you will add something and delete everything else. But now I'm going to add something and just keep that one there without affecting anything else. So I will right click here and says add a group. When I do add a group, he will ask me which group you want to add. I will browse for it because that's a group that I want to add is on the server. So I'll browse for it and I will type the name of the group. So it's IT employee student, I think. IT employee student. Good. So here's the group. I click OK. The minute I click OK, it will try to load up and ask me, what do you want to do here? Good. Here in the top section, I can add member to this group. So if I was trying to add somebody to that group, I will do the group policy. But that group is on my server and I add people to it from my server. So I don't need this part. I will use this part. This part, I will tell them this group is member of. So what I'm telling the Active Directory to do is this. Go to the PCs in the lab, add this group to those PCs, and add it where? I'm going to add it here under what? Under administrators. Why I'm not doing browse? Because if I do browse, it will take me to the domain groups. I don't want to add her to the domain groups. I want to add her to the local group on the user machine. So I have to make sure I'm typing the right name exactly, because here there is no browse. Administrators, and I click OK. So I'm telling the group policy, when you run, you go to the PC, you add this inside member of the administrator group. And I click OK. Good. Now I close the group policy. Now I will go deploy it. somewhere right click. So let's go here to the GBO test one. I deploy it on the test one. Done. Now it's ready on the test one. It's ready to go. Then what do? I go to PC1, password 1. I click on the start menu. I do CMD. I right click, says run as administrator, and then I connect here. Of course, now because of what we did in the last video, Mark is already an administrator on the machine, so I don't need that. It will just run. Good. And then I will do GB update /force. When the GB update is done, I will go to the computer management. Good. And remember, I'm able to go to computer management here because I already added Mark as an administrator a few steps ago. I will go under local users and group. I'll go under groups. I don't see the IT student here, but I added IT student as member of administrator. So it's inside administrator. I'll open administrators, and here is my IT student. Good. What does that mean? That means anybody from the student, IT employee student group, if they log into this machine, they are local admin on this machine.